Hello everyone, Jeff with the Green Review. I'm not sure who coined the term forcing when it applies to bulbs, because you don't really force them. All you need to do is give them the normal conditions that they would need in nature and you'll get them to bloom. These are Paperwhite Narcissus. There's about a dozen species native to the northern African coast of the Mediterranean, southern Spain, and southern France. And they don't get cold winters. They just get a dry, dormant period. So when you go to buy these, they've already had their dry dormancy period. So all you have to do is plant them. So when you're going out to buy them, buy the biggest ones you can. So here's a package that says Premier bulbs, and you take them out and you find there's one stalk coming up, two stalks on a few of them. And so then I went, these are about $1.20 a piece. I went to my local garden center for $1.50. I was able to find ones that have 3 and 4 flower stalks each and are much larger bulbs, much more substantial in weight, so they really are a better buy than buying a little packet pre-packaged. But if that's the only way you can get them, go ahead and get them. You will find these are the easiest plants you've ever grown. So buy the biggest ones you can. You can plant them in soil if you want. You can put a whole bunch of them in a flower pot. You can just pack them in side by side as tight as they will fit. Put a couple inches of soil underneath and half an inch or so on the top of the bulb. Leave these stalks coming out of the soil and just keep the soil damp. If you want to plant them in water, that's fine. This one is growing in 100% water, and these are growing in water and marbles. Now, the marbles, of course, are giving no nutrition or anything. They're just helping to anchor the roots so that they don't tip over as easy. This one, not only is it flopping this way, but it was spinning around in the little bulb vase here, and so it wanted to continue moving around, so it had to be rubber banded into place and staked. So the marbles definitely help. You don't need anything in there except for the water, but if you want to plant them in soil or in anything else, that's fine. You can, any container that holds water is fine. I have these in clear glass containers because I wanted to film the roots growing, and so I wanted to see that part. But any container that holds water will work just fine. Set them in several inches of marbles, and then put the bulbs together side by side, put marbles over the top. But then when you water it, just water it up to the bottom of the bulb. Right at the base of the bulb is all the higher the water has to be. And they're really easy to take care of at that point because they're going to just automatically start growing. The best place to put them is in a cool room. 50s and 60s are better than, the 40s, and I don't know how many people have rooms that are in the 40s, but they're much better than rooms in the 70s. The cooler it is, the better. They will bloom in about 3 weeks, no matter what the temperature, but if they're in warm temperatures, they will get really tall and leggy. Now, these were growing in a cool room to begin with, but then the last few days I had them out into a warm room and they have continued to extend up in height. You see the flower cluster and you think, oh great, it's done, it's ready to go. But if you watch it or measure it, you'll see that the flower cluster continues moving up every day another half inch or inch. So they are continuing to grow in this warmer room that they're in. So they're going to need to be staked. And if you have marbles, they're very hard to stake afterwards, trying to get the stakes into the marbles. So if you're going to have them in any kind of a warm place, then you really need to put the stakes in at the beginning. So you'll have the bulbs just sitting there with this great big tall stake. It will really look kind of strange, but just put it on a sunny windowsill in a cool room and they will soon surpass the stake and everything will be fine. One way that Cornell University has found that you can shorten the length of the stems is to add up to 6% ethanol into the water. So gin and vodka, I guess, are probably the easiest sources that you can get ethanol, but it's a solution with a 6% ethanol. And I'm not sure how to calculate that. I don't buy alcohol, so I don't know what how much is in there to begin with, but so you have to do some research on that. But what happens is it stunts the growth to about half the size of the original plant. It doesn't change the number of flowers that are in the stalks, because those are in the buds to begin with, and so it doesn't change that, and it doesn't change the length of time it takes for them to bloom. It only shortens their growth. So having some drunk bulbs, you'll find that they will end up being shorter. Plant a few every week or so, and you'll continue having flowers for a long period of time over the winter time. The Paperwhites are fragrant. There are some varieties that are less fragrant. You'll see that on the package sometimes, that it's one of the varieties that's less fragrant. But they have a fragrance that'll fill a house, and some people like it and some people hate it. So after the first flower or two open, you'll know which one you are, whether you like them or don't like them. There is no aftercare on these. Once these bulbs have grown and bloomed, the leaves are going to turn yellow and they're going to die. The indoors like this, they're not getting enough sunlight to put any nutrition and storage of carbohydrates and stuff back into the bulbs. There's no nutrition in the water, and there's no nutrients in the water, so they just don't do well. If you live in an area that has no frost, the ground never freezes, then if you want to plant them outside, go ahead and try it. You might get them to survive, but for the rest of us, these are just a temporary plant, like a cut flower that you're going to throw away. Now these are great bulbs for kids. They grow automatically, just keeping a little bit of water at the base of the bulb, and they're going to do fine. So if you want to keep your kids interested in gardening or in plants, especially in the wintertime when there's not much else to do, put them in there. They will enjoy watching the roots grow, or roots work their way around the marbles. They will watch, you put a little yardstick, a ruler next to them, and every day they'll see them grow. They'll have you can have a growth chart. They just are really fun for kids, and they're guaranteed to bloom. I almost forgot a couple of points I wanted to mention. One is that you can plant these bulbs in taller vase-shaped containers, and that will help control the floppiness of the plants. They'll grow more upright. They don't all have to be down at the level of the water. You can be a little bit above it. One of these bulbs is resting up here just a little bit above. It did get its roots down and it's growing just fine. So they're kind of stacked in here a little bit. These bulbs were big enough that 3 of them wouldn't fit in at the base level. Then the other thing is that there's a variety called Nir, N-I-R, that is a little bit shorter in the length of the leaves and the stems and has bigger flowers. And the smell is strong, but it's not overpowering. So if you're looking for one that's got a shorter stems and a showier bunch of flowers, try to find the variety Nir, N-I-R. And this is Jeff with a Green Review. Thanks for watching.